Hello, I'm Joy-Leilani Garbutt, and I'm here at the St. Thomas Fifth Avenue Church in New York, and I am so pleased to be joined by Camille de Varax from Paris. Thank you so much, Camille, for joining me today.
Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Thanks for the invitation, and thanks for giving us this great opportunity to hear the Sonate for organ. I'm Camille de Varax, Marie-Véra Maixandeau's great niece, and the president of the Association Maixandeau, which aims at promoting this French composer's work. I would like to thank you, Joy, for all the work you've done on this sonata. I know it was a long journey for you. And I would like to thank the St. Thomas Church as well for giving us this great opportunity to hear the sonata again.
Yes, it's such a delight to be here. This concert will be streamed on October 3 at 3 p.m. Eastern, and it will be the first time, to our knowledge, that the Sonate pour orgue will be performed. So it's just a really delightful opportunity, and I'm very excited and honored to be able to present this piece. I wanted to just say a few words, Camille, about how we met and how this came to be. I was studying in France in the 2018-2019 school year researching organ music composed by women, and I was really very grateful to be able to practice at the church Saint-Esprit in the 12th arrondissement, and was there practicing one day when the organist, the titular organist, Hampus Lindvall, said, "Oh, there's one of my parishioners who is a cantor here at the church, is really someone you should meet." And maybe you can tell what was going on at that time.
Well, at that time, I was just beginning with this Association Maixandeau, and I had no idea on how to begin. That's the truth. And that's when I talked to Hampus Lindvall, just like this, I'm working on this, you may be interested. And he told me, oh, I just met someone who would be really interested just yesterday, you have to meet her. And that's how I met Joy.
It was just so exciting because I was there in France trying to find organ music composed by women, and then we were able to meet, and you were so generous to show me these manuscripts that were composed by Marie-Véra that had never, as far as we know, have never been performed. Most of them have never been published, and to see her original manuscripts in this way, and then to get to spend time with them musically and really get to know her style. It's so original and so creative, and I can't wait for you to hear this piece. But I'm wondering if you could just tell us a little bit more about who she was, about her life.
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. But just for a funny, I want to show you one of the manuscripts.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's the first movement, so that's the beginning of the
yes,
sonate.
It's the beginning of the sonate, and it's just an example for people to understand the kind of work it was for you to enter the music, and it was a real journey, as I said before. So, and thank you for helping me understand how it would work. So about Marie-Véra. She was born in Monaco in the south of France in 1929. A couple of days after she was born, an accident left her almost blind. Despite this handicap, she was considered, she studied harmony, counterpoint, and organ, and her teachers at the age of 12 considered her as one of their best pupils. Therefore, she was sent to Paris to the conservatory, the National Conservatory of Music, where she studied with the composer Olivier Messiaen and the great organist Tony Aubin. You have to imagine that little girl, almost blind, alone in a Paris ruined by the World War II. But strong enough, she won several prizes, among which the first prize of composition for her concerto for piano and orchestra. She also won a prize for a ballet, which was created in 1952 by the Opera of Monte Carlo in Monaco, and with the Prince Pierre de Monaco himself. And then she won twice the Rossini Prize delivered by the French Academy of Arts. So great moment for her, sorry. And from during the 50s and the 60s, she wrote more than 30 pieces for a wide range of instruments and size of musical groups. For instance, she wrote for organ, of course, piano, string trio and quartets, orchestra, etc. In the late 60s, surprisingly, she decided to stop her self-promotion and to dedicate her life to God and to education in the National Institute for Blind People. Since her childhood, her faith in God was really strong, but it kept increasing while she grew up. And therefore, her music, and you will tell us about it, is driven by spiritual and mystical influences. But it also reflects the joy, the sense of humor, the way she would embrace life, and a little flavor of Provence, where she came from. So I'm dying to hear the sonata.
Oh, well, it's been so interesting to really delve into this music. And it's the first time that I've learned a piece directly from the manuscript. And so the amount of time to spend with the composer, it's very personal, really, like looking through somebody's private journal, private notes, and to see all of these ideas that she put onto paper. And in spending time with the sonata, I definitely can sense the influence of Messiaen, and especially in this very spiritual approach to composing, even in a piece that has no text, no external theme. It's very musical themes, of course, but how she is able to convey these senses of really an otherworldliness that I find so fascinating. One of the ways that she does this in the sonata is through a lot of dissonance. I think in her music, she really uses dissonance as the primary means of communication, with occasional moments of consonance for effect. So the opposite of what other composers would do, where dissonance is used sparingly just for effect. She does the opposite with that. And her harmonies are very ethereal. They are very surprising. It's unlike anything that I have heard before. The first movement and the last movement of the sonata are very, it sounds like taking a journey through space almost. It's really an invitation into this new sound world. And one of my favorite things about this sonata that I discovered is that she sets up a musical question in the very first chord, which is this this tension between a major third and a minor third. And I'm just going to play what that harmony sounds like here on the organ. So the major third would be this, and the minor third this. And what she does is to superimpose them and have those sound together. So the third, this question, which will it be? And she does not answer that question. She plays with that throughout until the very, very final chord of the last movement. And it's just this really very long spun out exploration of this musical tension. And there are so many interesting compositional devices that she uses throughout. Another one, for example, at the end of the second movement, which is really the main course of the sonata, I find. She takes a passages of differing lengths for the left hand, the right hand, and the pedal, and repeats them. So the pedal has a 3-note passage that repeats, while the left hand has a 4-note passage that repeats, and the right hand has an 11-note passage that repeats. So they don't line up, and you don't always hear these repetitions, but it's just very creative devices like that that have made this music so interesting to spend time with.
I understand it took a long time to play this.
Yes, it's not easy. It's really, it's very interesting writing, but it's not obvious. It doesn't reveal itself so easily. And that is what makes it interesting and worth spending time with. It's really creative. I know I keep saying creative and original, but it's just so wonderful to discover something new and also something old at the same time. It's so fresh and so original, but this piece has been waiting more than 50 years to be heard. So it really holds up for me. So it sounds as though it could have just been composed last week. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to presenting it. Oh, and I wanted to say just a word about the third movement. You mentioned her sense of humor, and the third movement is a scherzo that is so playful but so mischievous. It just has a very yes, just a very mischievous edge to it as she quickly moves through the themes, and it's become my favorite movement. So I really hope that this music becomes a part of the repertoire and that more people will play it as it becomes available. But that scherzo especially is just such a lovely little moment.
Great. Well, I know you're working on making female composers more famous and more played, and there is the equivalent in France, the equivalent association in France, which is trying to promote as well female composers. So thanks to you and the people like you, well, I hope that this sonata and other pieces by Marie-Véra Maixandeau will become more usual and will enter a repertoire.
Yes, yes, that's the goal, is to just have this music heard and played more throughout the world. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad that you were able to join me here in this way, all the way from Paris.
It's a pleasure to be with you and to hear you talking like this about this sonata.